Hello, my name is Dean L. Hoss, and today I'm going to go through the petty cash Imprest system. So what is a petty cashier? Well, a petty cashier is usually a junior accountant who is given responsibility of the petty cash tin or box or safe that you can see in the diagram, and their job really is to make what we call sundry payments, small payments to people who buy things on behalf of the company. So for example, if you were a salesman or woman and you used petrol in your own car to go and visit a potential customer, of course you would want to be paid back for the petrol you used on behalf of the business. Similarly, if your boss asks you to go down and collect some biscuits, some tea and perhaps some sugar for the business, again you would be expecting to receive money back for that particular purchase. The way it works is essentially if you present a receipt to the business, the petty cashier's job is to make sure that you're paid back from the money in the petty cash tin. And at the end of the month, the petty cashier will enter all the transactions that have taken place, in other words, all the payments that they have made from the petty cash tin, and will then present that back to the chief accountant. Now, the chief accountant will need to decide at the beginning of each month how much to give the petty cashier. This is known as the imprest amount, the amount that is actually going to go into the tin that the petty cashier will be in charge of. The amount that's given to the petty cashier depends on the size and type of the company. So for some companies they may give the petty cashier $300. Other bigger companies might give $1,000, $2,000 or $3,000. Based on experience, they'll know roughly how much the petty cashier will need to pay out in sundry expenses from day to day during the month. So in this particular example, the chief accountant has decided to give the petty cashier an imprest amount of $300. At the end of the month, the petty cashier will count up the amount of money that they have left in the petty cash tin. They will also check all the receipts that have been paid out to various people working in the business that have claimed expenses, and they will complete the book of original entry known as the petty cash book. The tutorial on the petty cash book will be the next tutorial in the playlist. In this particular example, we can see that the petty cashier has added up all the receipts and they found that they have actually spent an amount of $170. So that would be inputted into your petty cash book, and the chief accountant would check it to make sure that all the receipts do actually marry with the entries in the petty cash book, and then to what we call restore the petty cash tin to the imprest amount of $300. That's how much the petty cashier is going to need to start each month with. They would need to give $170 in addition to what's left from last month to the petty cashier. So how has that worked out, you might think? Well, we know that the amount spent was $170. So if we want to take it back up to the imprest amount of $300, in other words, we want to make sure that the petty cashier starts the new month with $300, obviously we would have to give, as a chief accountant, the petty cashier $170 that they spent or gave out in the form of expenses last month. And that will need to go back into their tin at the beginning of February, and that will take the amount back up to this magic $300. So the evidence that the petty cashier needs to collect is in the form of some sort of receipt or voucher that they will give the various company employees that are claiming for expenses. So if you had used petrol in your own car for business purposes, or you'd been asked to buy something on behalf of the company, it's within your right as an employee to ask for that money back from the petty cashier. When you approach the petty cashier for a refund, you will have to provide evidence that you did actually buy what you claimed you bought. So, for example, if you bought petrol for the car, you would ask the cashier at the petrol station for a receipt. If you went shopping for the business and bought some tea and coffee, again at the supermarket, you would ask them for a receipt. When you approach the petty cashier, they will take that receipt and put it into their tin and will give you back your money so that you've not lost out. In addition to that, they will also give you a petty cashier voucher. That voucher includes a special number so that you can keep track of the various payments that you make as a petty cashier. It will contain the date and a description of exactly what you have paid out and the amount. The petty cashier will sign there to prove that they have actually given the amount of money. And the person who works for the company who's getting their money back or receiving their money will also need to sign at the bottom. And of course, usually there's a carbon copy. That basically, imagine your receipt at a restaurant. It's a receipt that has two sheets. And when you write on the top sheet, it goes through to the bottom sheet, of course. And so by writing once, you have two copies. One copy you keep as the petty cashier voucher, as evidence that you've made that payment, and then the other copy of the voucher is given to the worker to prove that they have actually received that money. Thanks for listening. If you found this tutorial useful, then please do wait around for the next tutorial on how to actually construct the petty cash book to load up in the playlist. If you like what we're doing here at www.igcseaccounts.com, then please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and remember to hit the like button.